Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to this session where Bob Chilcott will be introducing us to his work Circlesong. He'll be talking to Robert Simpson, founder and artistic director of Grammy award-winning Houston Chamber Choir, and Marianna Parnas-Simpson, artistic director of the Treble Choir of Houston at Christ Church Cathedral. The Houston Chamber Choir recording of Circlesong is due to be released on the Signum label later this year. The session is going to be recorded, so please turn off your video if you prefer not to be seen. But please interact with comments and questions in the chat. The panelists will take questions at the end of the session. Over to you, Bob.
Thank you so much, Rosalda, and it's so nice to see you all. And it's great to see you, Bob and Marianna, too, because we, just before lockdown started in the UK, I was lucky to be able to get to Houston last February, the end of last February, where Bob and his choir did the new version of my piece Circlesong that I originally wrote in 2003 for two choirs in Birmingham in England, and I revised the piece for mixed choir and children's chorus. It was with a youth choir before that, a mixed youth choir, and it's scored with 2 pianos and 4 percussion. And Bob and his choir not only gave 2 brilliant performances of it in Houston, but we also recorded it, and it was thrilling to be able to do that, to enjoy both magnificent choirs. So I'm really grateful to that, Bob, because it's one of the last memories that I have of
for us too.
On this. Yeah, and so you, how did you feel about working on this piece when you started?
Well, I was very excited because you wrote it, but then I became more and more excited as I got into it to realize that this is really a piece for this time. And I don't want this to be a sell session, but I'm just going to tell you what I really believe. And I want Marianna to say just a word about this as well, right off the bat. The wisdom of the indigenous peoples of North America speak to issues that are so present, that are so timely, that we really owe it to ourselves to not only learn these ourselves, but spread them to as many singers as we can. And Bob, your music really amplifies the wisdom. It never intrudes, it never calls attention to itself. It is really a remarkable example of how to set a text that amplifies rather than diminishes the importance of it.
Well, thank you for that, Bob. Actually, the idea of the title, the Circlesong, is the circle of life, really. And what I did, I combined the poems with the 7 ages of man idea coming from Shakespeare. So birth, childhood, lover, adulthood, middle age, old age, and death. And we're taken on a journey. I'm going to play a little bit of the opening, and this is the introduction. It's kind of the darkness out of which comes life. I don't like stopping that because the singing is lovely. It really is. Your choir is has a rather special sound, Bob. I think I've told you that before. I love it, actually. Very clean and very clear. I love it. How come? How come that's your approach?
I don't know exactly, although I do have to pay a lot of tribute to the experiences that I had studying with Eric Erickson in Sweden, and I think probably the Scandinavian sound has something to do with it. But I'm also very lucky to have extraordinary singers to work with. So it's just that mysterious alchemy. And of course, they would sound completely different in front of another conductor. So it's just the way it works out.
That is true. Well, I kind of felt you brought something very special to this piece with the choir. I'm going to play a little bit of the next movement, which is the birth movement, and this I wanted to get an energy of the child coming into the world. This is where life starts. It's the kind of heartbeat. So I, just to be perverse, I set it in 5/time. So I hope that didn't unsettle you too much. But I know this is quite a movement to keep together, isn't it, Bob?
It is. You need a crackerjack marimbist.
Yep.
And the left hand of the second piano and the marimba just have to be like glue.
Yep.
I will also say a quick word about how important it is to kind of talking about sound. One sound is not ever good for anything. And this piece requires a number of different sounds. And so this is a piece that we really had to think about how to sing with care and with finesse, but without kind of the conservatory quality. We wanted to have it fresh and natural, and so that's the way we approach this.
Great. Here's a bit of Song for Bringing Your Child into the World. Thank you so much for the care you took with this, Bob. It's fantastically energetic and incredibly rhythmic. And I was just thinking, Marianna, your young singers, well, they were absolutely superb in this, because there's a lot of, they're very independent, aren't they, in terms of their role within the piece?
They are teenagers. And because of that, yeah, they gained certain independence. We started this project, they started just because I told them to. And honestly, they didn't express a lot of enthusiasm. They told me later on that they thought it's going to be long and boring. But we went through the process of intense rehearsals and recordings and concert performances in about 2 weeks, and it was on the school nights, and I really thought they're gonna drop like flies with all this schoolwork. And what I saw at the rehearsals, they were leaving late at night with sparkly eyes and smile on their faces and handle it with such maturity. And so we had a very sincere talk afterwards, after all was over, and they shared with me that how it grew on them. The first, they fell in love with the poems, because it's so many lessons of circle of lives and of life and relation to something that's very important to teenagers. And then, but only after they sang it with chamber choir and with a percussion ensemble, it deeply ingrown in them emotionally and spiritually. And that was an aha moment, whatever you guys say. And those moments in the Circlesong are minimum 11 for each part, but I'm sure it was many, many more. And you should have seen them talking about this. They told me it's a lifelong experience.
Fantastic. Well, that's beautiful. They were wonderful, actually. I'm going to play a bit now. This is the next movement, actually. This is birth. This is, sorry, this is still in birth. And this is where it's a sort of meditation on the newborn child. This is Robert's choir. Sorry to stop that again. I love the singing. I absolutely, it's so expressive because these words are magnificent, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
And I draw the contrast between the previous movement, in which the call came out, circle around, and you captured that urgency and that joy so beautifully in your music. And then this is the hymn sung over the newborn, praying that it will have step from childhood to adulthood with the guidance of the Great Spirit. It's an incredibly touching moment where the newborn is greeted into the family of these peoples with such tenderness and longing for happiness.
Yeah, I love it. Then, of course, we get. I wanted to play the next movement because it's where Marianna's choir comes into its own. It sings alone here, and this is the beginning of the childhood movement. And I love this, full of energy. Here. Thank you. Gosh, they sing with fantastic discipline, Marianna, and incredible presence, because it really comes over, I think, in this recording, this presence that you gave them with the singing.
You gave them.
Well,
the music is so inspiring, so it tells you what to do.
oh, that's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you. We have a little solo, and I'm going to play. There was a girl called Ella in your choir who sang both the solos. There are two solo movements. I'm not going to play this one, but because I want to play the whole of the last one, because I think the one she does later, I hate to say this, but it's possibly my favorite bit in the whole piece. But I'm going to play a bit of this movement called "Give Me Strength," because actually the words are incredible in this. There's this wonderful line in which he says, "For everything, we're all alike. We are all alike." And I love the way you phrase it, actually, Bob, with your choir here. Let's just listen to a bit of this.
Just let me jump in just quickly to say, that's exactly the point. This, when I said at the beginning that this is a piece for our time, I was referring specifically to moments like this, where it says, "Give me strength to walk the soft earth, and an eye to see, and a strength to understand, that I might be like you."
Beautiful. Yeah, here we are. Wrong one, sorry. Beautiful singing. Very, very powerful text. I don't think there's a phrase in this piece which doesn't relate to the way we feel about things, and I think you're absolutely right, Bob. They speak right from the heart, don't they?
It does. And it's such a credit to you. Not that this is an Admiration Society meeting, but I do want to say that when you're talking about giving me strength, it would be so easy to go for a powerful or a muscular kind of sound. And you just let this ride. It's like the strength of an inner will rather than some kind of extroverted emotional thing. And it was so easy for us to feel that interior strength thanks to the way that you composed the line. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, we move on to the next section now, which is actually all about Lover. And this is starts with a bit of energy. This is about rejection, this song, and we've all been there. Oh, I've got to put the volume up, sorry. Struggling with the technology as always. Here we go. Oh, no. then everyone sings their complaints at the same time. I love the way your young singers sing that. They throw that music around there, Marianna. I love it.
I'd like to jump in about the text. First of all, the music is so diverse, and the whole piece was waiting for this marimba dance. It's important in teenagers' life, the theme of rejection, because they get brokenhearted right and left in this in this moment. And just to say, I don't care if you desert me, many other folks are in the town. Soon I have another one that is not hard for the girls. Loved it, because I said, make sure take it in, so it help you when you get brokenhearted, because you're gonna get those boys in line.
There we go, story of life. But then the next movement brings us into a little bit more. This is obviously security. This is a bit of, this is kind of sentimental in what I would hope in the nicest way. I'm going to stop that there again. You have this, your choir sang this so beautifully, Robert. This very expressive, kind of sentimental music, actually, and because the poetry is very sentimental, which I love, and I think for me it's important to respond to that, and I try to do that in that movement. And then, of course, we move on to a very short stage of adulthood, and this is kind of this is just about. It's sort of virile. This poem. It has this sense of energy and the time when someone is striding forwards. You hope that, and that's what I try to do here. Again, it's a very kind of rhythmic, lot of percussion. And I hope your singers had fun singing this one. It's quite sort of simple, straightforward in a way.
Well, it's that youthful invincibility. You know, this is good.
And
this
gonna last
life
forever.
is good, and it will last forever.
Last forever.
Yes, exactly. I just point out for those who like percussion. Actually, the marimba part is just with 2 mallets. I know that some people play with 4 mallets, but actually the percussion parts are not very difficult in this piece, and it's just a case of playing in time, isn't it, Robert? Probably.
Yeah, but the stroke of genius, one of the strokes of genius in this movement is the wood blocks. The way that that's the spark that just lights the fire. It's amazing.
Right. And actually the piano parts are they are kind of fairly equal. It's not really piano duet. It is 2 piano, isn't it? I mean, we had very good players on this recording, and they really do have an equal feel in the terms of the instrumentation. Would you say?
I do. Yes.
Well, we're going to move on. Then we get to middle age, and this is the most substantial movement probably in the whole piece. I'm just going to play a bit. It's a kind of about looking back and kind of feeling, did I live in a good way, and what can I do to put it right while I've still got a bit of energy? Would you say that's how it was?
Yeah, all the carefreeness is gone.
Yeah. It builds up to quite a climax in that movement. We will pass over that, but I just wanted to pass on. I remember when the first performance of this piece, when we did that movement, and someone in the choir came up to me and said how reading these poems had actually helped him come to terms with some very deep grief that he'd had in his own family. And I was really moved by that, because these poems they speak immediately. Let my hands see all things you have made with love. These kind of like little things that are carved in stone, actually, really sayings that you want to remember.
Marianna had experience like that.
No, I have this piece of paper that you probably can read on my desk since then, for a year now. And there is a quote from this particular movement that I cannot get tired of reading that. I seek strength not to be greater than my brother, but conquer the enemy within myself.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That is amazing.
Everybody.
Yeah.
To remember.
Well, thank you for that, Marianna, because that is, yes. Thank you. You've slightly caught me off my guard there. That is, yeah. Anyway, then we move into old age, and what I tried to do here was to create a kind of, it's a cappella, this movement, and it's I wanted to hear the echoes of the past when the person is contemplating well, I suppose the fact that life is maybe a bit short for now, and so hearing the echoes of the past, and I used the upper voices to create that, and then the mixed choir have the narrative. Again, Marianna, your young singers, this discipline of the way that they sang this and the understanding of what their function was. I think so often we with singers, we need to know what our function is in the idea. And I feel they really got that.
Oh, definitely. The pride of being a part of this ensemble was so overwhelming. They felt blessed. But I want to say that the score for children's choirs is deceitful because it seems to be easy, but it's very challenging. This particular piece, heterophonic singing, challenging, not melodically, not because these parts are vary, and they're similar, but they vary. And then rhythmically, and when to get in, it just takes a lot of discipline and training. So I suggest that the choir, children's choir, should be actually trained a little bit before getting into this piece. It's challenging.
Well, they do it very well. Yes, and it's very enabling, I think, for their point of view. I think when they can do it, I really felt that.
Absolutely.
Well, I want you to play the song with the section on death, just a little bit of this, because actually this beautiful poem I found, and I decided I wanted to make it as a solo with a child, because it needs, in a way, we become well, we never lose the child within us, but at the same time, the child is the continuation. And this is young Ella who sang this, and it breaks my heart listening to this.
Showers pass over you.
That's how I imagined that song being sung, actually. She's a remarkable way she phrases. There's something that really, really wonderful about the way she sings that. And I listen to it quite often just to remind me that of how brilliant these young people are, and young people in general, when they're mentored in the right way. And you've really done that with these young people, Marianna. It's fantastic.
To face mortality. We're facing mortality first in about this age. I remember myself, and this is the piece that actually helps, because I didn't have anything like that in my. I remember I was horrified by the concept, but it's such a haunting piece. And Ella is the one who came up to you. I eavesdropped, and she said to you, "You changed my life." Remember that?
I have it written in a card.
Yeah, you changed my life.
Yeah. So when I think I'm useless, like on a regular basis, I look at that.
Yes.
Marianna, can I quickly ask a question?
Yeah.
We've had someone just asking how old the children were. How old were your choir?
From 11, the youngest is 11, the oldest was 18.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Great.
We'll just play a little bit of the last movement, because actually it goes back, it refers to the beginning again. So actually the sun's beams are running out is the next one, and then we wait in the darkness. So actually what we do, we come back to the contemplation on birth with the same music, and then we recall the opening movement, which of course is the introduction. I wanted it to have the feel of the circle, so this is how it kind of begins.
Yeah, and coming back.
Thank you, Robert. Beautiful memories of that time with you in Houston. That was special, and
very same.
To be able to do this was really very special, because this work I feel very, very close to this piece, and I feel so proud that you have imagined it.
I imagined it first, and I hope you feel the love that we have for this piece and the admiration for you as the creator. You can't find the words.
I think it's not only timely, it's timeless. I really believe that.
100%.
It's timeless, and we just reliving it again, and it's just as fresh as it was the first time.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I have a practical question for you, Bob, in Houston. How large is your chamber chorus?
24.
And it sounds bigger. It's extraordinary. You've managed to create a really big sound. Do you think that it works just as well with a larger, would it work just as well with a larger chorus?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it was originally written actually for a big symphonic chorus with a children's with a young youth choir. So actually but it balances very well. I think there weren't any balance issues. Of course, well, Robert's choir is wonderful anyway, but there weren't any balance issues, were there, Robert?
No.
Well, we're drawing to a close. Thank you all both, well, all three of you, for really shedding some wonderful light on this piece. I wish we had more time to talk about it. What was I going to say? My mind's gone a blank. We'll be putting this session up on YouTube, so people will be able to watch it in complete. And anyone who's come in, please do leave your card at our booth. It'd be lovely to be in touch with you. And then it means we can also let you know when we have an idea when the CD of this wonderful piece is going to be released. So yeah, it only remains for me to say thank you to Marianna, Bob and Bob.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.